Hello, can you guys all hear me okay? Give me a little thumbs up or thumbs down if you can hear me. And David, as our presenter, I'm going to put everybody on mute. And then David, I'm going to take you and put you off mute, which I think you should be able to do yourself, but just in case.
I did it.
There you go. So David, you and I have not met, but I'm Ed Morrill, so I'll be kind of moderating this group for you. If you know, I'm just going to hang out here in the background, and if you need me at all, let me know. If you have any questions about using Zoom, I'm here as a resource for you.
Okay.
But I'm excited to hear you speak. And with that, you know, for everyone who's on the call, it's 1:30. I see we might want to wait a minute or two because we may have some late people getting on the call here. And by the way, I will start recording now, so you guys all know this is going to be recorded. And let's see, Eileen, I see you have a message here that you can't hear. Has that been improved? Eileen, can you now hear me? Can you now hear us? Can everybody else hear? Thumbs up or thumbs down? How are we doing on sound? I could hear David just fine, so I know that's fine. Okay, so with that being said, here, let me go back to speaker view. So I'm going to mute myself.
Yeah, I'm going to mute my phone. Am I starting now? You're mute.
Yeah, yes, David, you're all good to go.
Okay, my presentation is going to be medium to short because of some new rulings that we got yesterday. The state now says that we cannot file any new unlawful detainers for a period of 90 days after the emergency is over, unless it involves public health or safety. So at the moment, we can give notices, but we can't file. So if they have not communicated to you that the issue is coronavirus related, you can give a 3-day pay or quit, or if they're throwing loud parties, that's maybe to get into court. As far as being able to go forward because they're not letting you into the unit due to the fact that you want to sell the place and you need to do a walkthrough and they're saying no one can come in. That's actionable. Problem is we can't file an action for 90 days. That's not, you know, public health and safety isn't involved on that. Is Piper on here?
Hi.
Hi, I sent you a few questions there.
Oh yeah, I sent them to Ed, so he's moderating it. I mean, I can ask them to you.
Please do.
All right, hold the line, please. Let me pull it up. Hold on one second. Let me get them. Sorry, there you are.
How horrible is this? Is the first question.
Yeah, how horrible is this, David?
It's pretty horrible, business-wise. Not.
You know.
We should be flattening the curve this week.
Oh.
God willing.
Okay. All right. So, what's happening at the present time with evictions?
Nothing, and that's the problem. Everything that's in the pipes is on ice, and we've had everything continued into May and June. One case we actually got in for July. We can anticipate that everything going forward is going to be a jury trial. So every document has to be 150% correct. And if it's not a jury trial, great. But we have to prepare like it is. If they're not paying the rent, they're not cooperating, we give them notices. You have all the notices. I sent you a whole bunch of notices earlier in the week.
Right, and I have, yeah, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it. There was a lot of great information there. Ed's actually going to be the wonderful, nice man who's going to kind of throw them up. So you'll just let us know what it is, and then he'll just grab them.
If you think you have the need to use them, fill them out how you think they need to be filled out, email them to me, call me. I'm miserable on the email. I'm really good on telephone calls. I have an implant, a telephone implant.
That's true. You are really good on the phone, David. I will agree with you on that.
So that's the conundrum that we're in, where we can't do anything, but we have to do some things. Mm-hmm. And if they're dealing drugs, if there's danger, we can do something. We're going to court, and those cases are going to be real expensive on the danger emergency one, if it goes to there. If it's just they're not letting you in because they don't want to let anybody else into their home because they're afraid of the virus. There's nothing specific about that as far as an eviction goes, because we can give them a 3-day perform. They don't let us in, then we can file a lawsuit. But we can't file a lawsuit for 90 days. So that's sort of the big circle that we're in here. And the other piece is, how's a judge or a jury going to look at trying to enter somebody's home this week or next week with all this going on?
Yeah. Okay. All right. When can we start a no fault case or non-payment? March rent?
March rent, we can serve a notice now. We'll be able to file it for 90 days after the emergency is declared over. If it's a 30 or a 60-day notice, we can't serve those notices for, again, 30 to 60 days after the expiration of the emergency order. So if you're selling a property, you just want them to move out so you can continue with life, we can't serve the tenants that are in there this normal 60-day notice for at least 2 months.
Wow. All right. Okay. So, okay. Current agent situation. You were asked this last night, right? Can a tenant refuse to allow access because of the coronavirus, quote, stay-at-home state order?
No, but there's no way to enforce it.
Okay.
If you give them a 24-hour notice, state law says they have to let you in under normal circumstances, reasonable hours. Nothing stopping them from leaving, walking around the block for 10 minutes while you're in there showing. But if they don't let you in, and I give them a notice to perform or quit, I can't file a lawsuit for at least another 3, if not 4 months.
Wow. Okay. All right. Let's see. What if you're in the middle of an eviction? How does time frames get affected?
If they filed an answer and we request a trial for court, the court will set the date sometime in May or June. In the meantime, they pay nothing. Well, goodness, most of the banks are cooperating with the 90-day forbearance on the payments.
Okay. All right. Did anybody have any questions? Do you want to type them in for David? And then I'm assuming you'll go over, David, the documents?
Sure.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions at all, you beautiful humans, about, okay, let's see.
What about therapy animals? I can talk about that for 2 days.
Right?
I have my pocket puppies here somewhere.
Okay. All right, Lorna, so we got the one about showings. Let's see. All right, all right, so can you pull them up? Sorry, David, can you at least pull those documents up, Ed? So we can have David.
Yeah, hold on 1 second here. I've got them here. I'll pull them up.
Okay, thanks for your patience, guys. Because you have some great documents, by the way. So and they'll be really useful to people.
Hey, David, I've got 3 documents here in this email that you sent. I've got one called Corona Rent Deferral Request,
Yes.
Corona Rent Payment Deferral Addendum, and Partial Payment COVID-19. Which one do you want me to pull up on the screen?
Either any of them, all of them.
Okay, so here, I'll open them all. Bear with me here in a second. Open more.
So the bottom line with all these notices is, if we're telling a tenant, the tenant is not paying the rent. We have to be very nice to them and lay the groundwork that we are trying to work with them. So we're saying to them, if you have a problem, document it with us. We need the information that's requested in there, which is some finance. There we go. This is, they make a partial payment. That's a receipt for the partial payment. And that's if, so if they can afford to pay whatever they can afford to pay it, take the money and run, because collecting additional fees is going to be very difficult during this time period right now. All the rent that's due from April forward, basically, really from March 15th, if their due date was the 15th, they can pay off over the next 12 months or pay in 12 months. We can't give a 3-day notice for the current rent unless we lay the groundwork that we ask them, do you have a problem? And we have to ask them to document the problem with financial documents and such. Letter from their boss, a letter saying that you're furloughed, something showing that they don't have work, they don't have money, we cannot file on it. Now, once the emergency order is lifted, We then can't do anything for 90 days after that, which is going to allow the tenants to catch up on the rent. So they actually thought this out, which is a little shocking. I'm going to click over to the next document. Where do I click that?
I just did. Hold on a second here. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Here's the next document, and just let me know when you want me to get to the second page of it.
Go.
Here's page.
I'm still on the first page.
Yeah, we're still on the first page one.
Okay.
Scoot on over.
Oh, this is the first one over here.
There you go.
So here's the second one, but there's 2 pages to the second document. Here's the second page. Here's the first page.
Okay, go ahead and click on them. We'll see what comes up.
Okay, you can't see this. Hold on a second here. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Well, I know what they look like. And again, if you have questions after the fact, feel free to give us a call. Hi, Tiffany.
This is the second page, right? You can see this now, the COVID-19 rent deferral request.
Right. And this is you're again giving the tenant the opportunity to tell you that there's a problem. And you need them to give you the documentation. That's just the bottom line. If they fail to give you the documentation, the COVID 3-day pay or quit says in there, and I don't know if that's the third document that you have there or not. It says, you fail to give us any information. If you give us information, then this notice is withdrawn. If they fail to give you any information, we can file on it on the day the court says we can file on it, which is going to be in about 4 months. However, it will get their attention if you give them the notice, and maybe they'll start to work with you, and maybe they won't. And that's page 2, right?
Yeah, correct.
The state laws that kicked in a couple of months ago for the first of the year, those are going to be a real problem once everything gets equalized here. That's really we'll be dealing with that and talking about that in about 6 or 7 months after all this stuff is over with. But if you have properties that were built after 2005, if there's then they're exempt. If they're built before then, there's certain cutoffs for the dollar amount to pay them. If it's non-City of LA relocation money, it's a lot cheaper than City of LA rent control relocation. So sort of hopscotching between this and the state. And we can expect some pretty crazy rules coming down from Sacramento. I've seen some floating around that have not been anywhere near passed, but they're pretty draconian. So does anybody have any additional questions for me on this bloodletting?
I have a question that's really more practical than legal. I don't know if this will be a time to address it.
I haven't been practical now for about 3 weeks, but go ahead.
No, I was actually in the process of working with a client to list a 4-unit building right before all of this happened. And she had a few things she needed to do to get it ready. But then once it did happen, everything has just sort of stopped. And I've felt that it would be a tough time to sell one of those properties, particularly if the tenants are not paying rent. And I just wanted, this is the question for everybody, really. Like I said, it's more of a practical question.
As far as listing and showing the property?
Well, yeah, to me, I just think it's going to be difficult to sell income properties right now with this current moratorium in place.
Yes, because
I just wanted other people's thoughts about that.
Well, I'll chime in here with something. I've heard that lenders are having issues lending on multi-unit on investment properties, which for a cash investor who has cash, there could be some opportunity there for picking up a property because few people are going to be willing to jump in there. You might be able to get quite a bit of a discount. That's one thought I've got. I'm curious to see what other people think.
So this is Joey. It all goes to motivation, right, Jen? If she needs to sell it, there's a price that someone will be excited to
got
get
it.
it.
Oh,
at,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Right. But this is not the moment to get the best price for that property.
Right. That's
And
what
right. So, but that being said, there's also nothing to lose in listing it, because no one's really going to judge you 3 months from now. I've been saying this over and over again. If it didn't sell in this time, right? If you have to reboot it or reprice it. So she's like, hey, if there's a buyer out there at this price, I'm in, right? And with this in the situation we're in, I'm in. There's somebody out there who's doing a 1031 exchange who needs something, right?
Right.
And so it's about supply and demand. She doesn't lose anything by putting it on the market right now, but the expectation has to be set pretty low. Yeah.
Okay. Good. I'll work with that. I have seen that the MLS is no longer counting days on market, or they're temporarily counting days on market. So that's helpful. That's definitely yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mary had a question in there.
Okay, so her question is there a form for, quote, request for verification of inability? Is there a legal form for the landlord to use when requesting a verification of inability to pay rent?
Absolutely. I'll email some over to you when the meeting's over.
Great, thank you.
And David, I've still got the third form here. Do you want me to pull that up?
Sure. Let's see which one that is.
Hey, David, do you want to explain what that form really is about that Mary just asked about?
You're asking them very nicely, because we're, again, and this I'm being redundant. Oh, here's the form. Okay. This is the payment form. Where after they've told you that they can't afford to pay because of the emergency, then you work out a payment plan that begins. This says 30 days after the expiration of the emergency. Questionable if it's going to be 30 or 60 days after the emergency ends, but they will have a full year to repay it. They can make partial payments in 30 or 60 days. They can wait 365 days and give you a check for the whole thing at that time. It's not broken down in months the way that the orders have come down. They've all come down as orders and decrees. As far as asking them, there's a form where you're basically saying, show me your finances that I can double check on to prove that they're legit. If they don't cooperate, then we go to a standard non-payment of rent notice that says, you didn't tell us what the problem is, you haven't documented anything, here's your 3-day pay or quit. So they have to cooperate with you if you have to cooperate with them to work on this 1-year payment plan.
David, I just scrolled down there to page 2 of that same document. Let me know if you need to go back or whatever.
Nope, I'm good. Unless somebody else has a question there on this. All right, so the other documents I'll have emailed to you within the hour.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
David, any limitations? Any limitations for access for repairs and/or upgrades that that the landlord can perform during this time?
On the exterior, everything's normal. On the interior, if the tenant needs some plumbing work, I'd get a plumber in there and ask them to leave the unit for a couple of hours. Both sides.
Okay.
Plumber's coming in, you're going out.
And have them sign a release of liability of some sort?
Wouldn't hurt. That's sort of chicken soup. How do we know who's contagious when?
David, what if it's not an emergency, but say someone is fixing the property to sell, and they want to go in to make some improvements, not a plumbing leak. What about that?
In theory, you can give them a 24-hour notice to enter. And if they refuse you to enter, this is the catch-22. I can't file a lawsuit for at least 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they can legitimately say, I'm afraid. We go into court, they tell the judge or a jury, I was afraid. We're all afraid.
Right.
We put on, hazmat suits to walk our dogs.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, David.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Great, thanks.
Good. So if a tenant is unable to pay rent right now because both she and the husband lost their jobs, and the intention is that they're leaving the property at the end of the month, that still applies then, that they have, what was the length of time that they have in order to pay
1
back?
year.
Is it 1 year? Okay. So that just follows them even though they're not at the property
Correct.
anymore. Okay. But we just still have to put together a payment plan of some sort.
A good idea. Get it in writing
Mhm.
from them, and
Okay.
have a party that they're leaving without having to wait 4 months to call me.
Okay.
And have real low expectations of recourse too.
Right.
Well, if they were good for it when they moved in and they had a decent credit score, they're probably going to work on a payment plan with you. If they don't care, their credit score was 380 when they moved in. It's probably 250 now, so you'll never see a dime from those times. But if they were in the 6s or the 7s, we're all going to get through this, and at the other end of it, they're going to want to.
Absolutely.
Right. Right. Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions for me? Okay.
Yeah.
David, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is some great
Thank
information.
you.
And hopefully when we have this meeting the next time, which I'm anticipating in about a month, I will have clarity to give to everybody on here of when we can start doing what. Because right now it's this new ruling of by the way, this new ruling of the 90 days after the order is over was signed last night. This is literally changing every day. So,
Mhm.
all right,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, David.
David,
Thanks,
thank you
David.
so
Thanks,
much,
David.
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 Appreciate it. Hey, David. Okay.
Bye, everybody. It's good to see your faces.
Jan, good to see
Yay.
you
Bye,
too.
Jan. Nice to see you. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey,
See you
doing
guys
it?
at the next Zoom.
Woohoo!
Zooming along.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Bye. Oh, Joy,
Bye.
do you have a minute?
Joseph. Sure.
I'm I'm gonna start farming with agent from a different a broker. It's a small brokerage in Koreatown.
Uh-huh.
The thing is, I'm making like letterhead with Keller William on it. I'm gonna put
Sure.
her picture with her name and phone number and BRE number. Is that okay?
Sure. Co-branding?
Yeah, like
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna put any of her company.
Broker information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only under Keller Williams.
It's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
we're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So I'm working on this.
Let me put
This
it this way. You're covered. You're
Okay.
covered in it. Right?
Yeah. Okay. And I'm talking to her so she could come to our office.
Yeah. Well, let
She's
me know when if you need to talk, if she wants to talk to me.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let you know. She's like between. Should I not? She's like, let's try it.
I'll make it as easy as possible for her.
Okay.
Let her
Okay.
make some money with you first. That'll get her wanting it, right?
Uh-huh.
And invite her to any of these calls or education also.
Yeah. I'll let me see if I could invite her like
Sure.
for the tomorrow's meeting. Otherwise, on Thursday, any trainings or next meetings, I'm gonna.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna
in the daily email. Like
Okay.
the CPA today was really great.
Oh, I missed it. I was taking
Yeah,
care
it
of
was a good one. I understand.
Okay.
Got to make the magic. Thank you, Joseph.
Okay.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you, Joy. Have a
Bye,
good one.
buddy.
You.
You too. I look forward to seeing you soon.
I'll see you soon.
Bye, bud.